Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to St Paul's Cathedral here in London, Ontario. Today, a short organ recital will be presented, and our Tuesday Music at Midday series, which normally takes place, is today being recorded and will be presented on the organ. Often on Tuesdays we have voice or piano as well as organ, but today an organ recital. The composers of the pieces that I'm going to play for you today are favourites of several members of our congregation, and so they've helped me choose the music for today's programme. The first piece is by a composer well known to all of you, I'm sure, Mendelssohn, perhaps best known for his Elijah, but Mendelssohn loved the organ and wrote several pieces, 6 sonatas, 3 preludes and fugues, and he writes extremely well for the instrument, for the hands and for the feet, and he knows all of the sounds of the organ. This particular piece is his second sonata in C minor, and it has 4 movements, and it uses the full range of the organ, finishing triumphantly with a fugue that ends in C major. But it begins on the diapasons of the organ at the opening movement, and then you'll hear a lovely melody played on the flute stops for the adagio, and then the minuet uses the full range of the organ, followed then by the fugue. So I begin today's program with Mendelssohn's Sonata number 2 in C minor. The next piece on the programme is by J.S. Bach, a chorale prelude specially chosen for this time of year, a very, very special week in the life of the church. We're now into Holy Week, Easter Sunday, of course, coming up this weekend. The chorale prelude that I'm going to play, it's a piece based on a Lutheran hymn tune, and the text is, "O man, bemoan thy grievous sin." And what Bach does, he takes the melody, gives it to the right hand on a solo stop, and I'm going to be using some beautiful flute stops on the organ, and decorates it and weaves wonderful harmonies around the original melody. So the next item, the chorale prelude for Lent, O Mensch bewein, by J.S. Bach. we move to the 19th century, a short chorale prelude by J. Brahms, a composer again, probably better known for his symphonic music or choral music. He wrote a beautiful German requiem, but right at the end of his life, he decided that he would write a set of chorale preludes for the organ. He loved the instrument and decided that he would write finally for the instrument these lovely chorale preludes. And being in the period leading up to Easter, during Holy Week, I've chosen to play one of the chorale preludes based on the melody O Sacred Head Sore Wounded, Herzlich tut mich verlangen. So the next piece, the chorale prelude by Brahms. And finally, to the last piece on today's program. Many organist composers have come out of the city of Paris over the centuries. The very fine churches that city has have attracted many, many organists, and many of them have also been fine composers as well. We think of Widor and Vienne and César Franck. And right back at the beginning of this long tradition, in the middle of the 19th century, Gabriel Pierne was teaching at the conservatory and was a very fine pianist and organist, and he wrote a few pieces for the instrument. And a favorite of mine that I've used at many recitals is a piece from a set of 3 that he wrote, and it's the Prelude in G minor. It uses the full range of the organ, and I think well reflects the fact that here we are in Holy Week, and then this Sunday it will be Easter. So the piece begins in G minor, and it builds to a wonderful climax at the end, finishing in a blaze of G major. So we go into it's the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. So the final piece on today's program, Gabriel Pierne's Prelude from his set of 3 pieces.